How's it going, guys? Today I'm going to show you exactly what it's like to drive the all-new E-Class. Now stick with me here because the interior has some of the craziest features that you definitely want to see. Under the hood of this E-Class, as it is the E200, is a 2-liter turbocharged 4-cylinder making 196 horsepower and 235 pound-feet of torque. Now, if that's not enough power for you, there is the E450 with 362 horsepower, 0 to 60 in 4.9 seconds. And then, of course, at the top of the line, there's the almighty E63. But the true genius of the new E-Class is its S-Class rivaling interior. So let's go ahead and open up the new E-Class and show you what this thing is all about. I also really like those daytime running lights. The LEDs look very sharp. Let's go ahead and hop in the interior. Nice chrome door handles. Check out how gorgeous this ambient lighting is, and this is just the start. Now, let's go ahead and fire up the E-Class. I love this beautiful steering wheel. We've got controls on the right side and the left side. Look how gorgeous this dual 12.3-inch digital display is. Looks like something straight out of the S-Class, and the two-tone ambient lighting is absolutely gorgeous. Now, something I never thought I'd say before is I actually like the cloth seats in this car. The two-tone with the leather and cloth actually looks pretty good, and I bet it holds up very well over time. Got some storage space in here. This controller feels so good in your hands. So let me go ahead and click the home button here. It's got haptic feedback, so when you actually slide from side to side to go through the different menu options, you feel it in your finger, and it just feels so premium. If we go over to comfort right here, click color. You can change the ambient light colors. This is my personal favorite. It's called Red Moon. It's got a combination of red and blue ambient lighting. Feels really upscale. When I had my E63 AMG, I always had it in this setting. But you don't have to have multicolor. You can do a single color. We'll go over to ocean blue. This will make everything all blue in the interior, which looks pretty cool. Purple sky. It'll make the interior more purple, although that does look pretty blue to me. And then let's do fire red. That looks pretty darn cool, but I'm gonna go back to Red Moon because that is my all-time favorite. Now, let's go back here, go over to info. Got a whole bunch of data. I love the graphics. Got a nice picture of the E200 right here. We'll go over to engine, scroll up. Look at that, pretty cool graphics, like something out of a video game. And go over to fuel consumption as well. This thing actually gets really good fuel economy, impressively so. Now, paddles mounted behind the steering wheel that actually feel really nice in your hands. This is a 9-speed automatic gearbox. Very, very effective gearbox, fast shifts, and good fuel economy. Get another look at that beautiful dash layout. Seat controls to the left. Now, they're not mounted down on the side where if you're wearing a watch or there's just not enough space here. I love the fact that Mercedes always mounts their seat controls right here. We've also got heated seats, although we're in Dubai right now, so we're not going to want to use those. Obviously, this is for cooled seats if you option that out. Wireless charging down here, 2 cup holders. Got climate control here. All of the buttons and fit and finishes in this E-Class are so nice. The steering wheel feels amazing in your hands. This open pore wood, you can actually feel the grain. It feels very, very high quality. It seems so much nicer to me than kind of that overly glossy wood. Now, I'm actually really impressed by the backup camera in this car. The graphics are really nice. We've got an aerial view right here. And then we've got these lines that show you exactly the path of the car, but the camera itself actually rotates to give you a very nice view of where the vehicle is actually going to drive. One of my favorite parts of this digital display is you can actually change the layout. So if we use these controls here, it's touch controls, click Sport. It'll change the display to a sportier. That looks really awesome, actually. Let's go back. Scroll over to sports and style and displays. We'll scroll down, progressive. Wow, that looks really futuristic. And then let's go back one more time and check out the last driving mode. I mean, look how high quality all of these graphics are. Go to understated. I have no idea what that looks like, actually. That is very boring. I can see why they say it's understated, but I guess if you want something very, very simplistic, it looks somewhat nice. But let's go back to the sport displays because that looks a lot better. Check out how nice the center console looks when I close this. Just this one gorgeous piece of flowing wood that flows into the rest of the trim. We've even got ambient lighting here in the center console and up onto the dash. All right, guys, I think it's time to take it out on the road and show you what it's like to drive. All right, guys, behind the wheel of the E200 now, driving around in the gorgeous Dubai Marina. The first thing you notice is how comfortable and easy to drive the E200 is. Steering is very, very light. It's super, super comfortable. The suspension soaks up bumps nicely. It feels very premium and high quality in here. This is a car you could commute to work, drive very long distances, and be comfortable the entire time, while getting decent fuel economy unless you opt for something like the E63. Honestly, having owned an E63, I thought I was going to be underwhelmed with something like the E200, not having that big V8 soundtrack. But honestly, as a daily driver, this thing is actually perfect. It doesn't need that extra power, but you've got all the luxurious amenities. You don't need to spend over $100,000 to get this gorgeous ambient lighting or any of the other interior creature comforts. Now, we've got multiple driving modes to choose from, which can be selected via a little toggle down in the center console here, labeled dynamic. Right now we're in comfort mode, which you can see on the screen with a little C. Eco, Comfort, Sport, and Sport Plus. This isn't really a car that you would drive in Sport Plus, but we're going to put it in Sport Plus just to have a little bit more of a dynamic experience. Paddles mounted on the steering wheel. They really do feel good when you press them. We're going to hop on the freeway here to test out the acceleration in a little bit. I am loving these graphics. Will you use this often? Will you actually put those graphics on the screen? I don't know, I would, just because they're visually exciting. Well, the average buyer, probably not, but it is really cool to have. Climate control is really easy to use. If you click that blower setting, if we go into menu, look at that on the screen, got nice looking climate controls, dual zone, of course. More on the climate controls, we've got these gorgeous airplane turbine style vents, and these controls here to actually turn off the individual vent controls. You know, it's not the most powerful, but it's a little bit torquey. That 235 pound-feet, what on earth is that guy doing? People are very aggressive drivers out here. I'm kind of surprised. If you don't drive exactly the right pace of traffic, people honk at you immediately. It's kind of funny. But the roads out here are pretty cool, and the architecture and the buildings are absolutely ridiculous. Now we're gonna put it back into comfort mode, so there's no real reason to be driving this thing into Sport Plus mode. But just look how nice the dash looks. Yes, the car is not the most exciting on the outside, in my opinion, but you're gonna be spending 99.9% of the time on the inside of the vehicle, not on the outside. So you're gonna be looking at this absolutely stunning area that may as well be an S-Class, and it's almost a third of the price of an S-Class, less than half. And honestly, yes, the new generation S-Class does feel a bit more upscale than this and has a newly designed screen, but the last generation S-Class that was made concurrently with this generation E-Class really doesn't feel all that much different, other than it's more plush in terms of the suspension, but still a very, very luxurious ride. Let's pull up the navigation. Look at that, three-dimensional navigation. It loads very, very quickly. Good graphics as well. Everything on this feels top-notch. The graphics are very impressive. It's showing the exact amount of lanes that are on the highway. That's actually really awesome. And then when you put in the traffic directions to get to a destination, it'll actually show you which lane to be in to make sure you get off the road, which is really helpful, especially when you're driving in a place that you're unfamiliar with. The streets out here are quite confusing. There are so many times where you have to do these 180 or 360 degree turns off the on-ramps and then back onto the freeway and all the other directions just to get to a simple place. But I mean, look how spectacular this is. Because it's so hot in Dubai and there's so much sun, we've got this rather annoying tint right here. So hopefully it doesn't block too much of your view, but I do wish it wasn't there so you could see a little bit more of the buildings around. Look at that, Dubai Mall. Very tinted windows in this car, but even still, there is a little bit of light penetrating through into the cabin. Overall, I do really like this thing. The technology is fantastic. It's really smooth to drive. And if you don't need the power of something like an E63, this gives you everything you could want and more. Well, guys, I hope you enjoyed today's review. Like always, please browse the channel and subscribe. I look forward to seeing you next video.